4 years ago, I was at the exact same place. Not really 4 years ago, like more like 4.5 years ago. We were in the middle of a global epidemic problem, health problem. We were all at home and I had nothing to do. So I did the first thing that any content creator would do, and I took my car, my 1971 Corvette, drove it right here and did a video. Little did I knew back then, that video would become one of my most viewed video of the channel, but also one of the most hated. The thing is, because of the algorithm, like my 5 things that I hate about my Corvette came out way more often than the 5 things I love about my Corvette, and some people were offended about it. A lot of people were saying mean stuff in the comment like, you don't deserve this car, you should sell the car to me, and blah, blah, blah. So, this time, why not do a video about the car that everyone knows that I love? So it's going to be 5 things that I love about my 98 Honda Integra Type R, but there's going to be also 5 things that I hate in the next video after this one. So buckle up, we are going to dive into this car, but hopefully the internet will like this video. So to start off this list, number 5 on my list is how iconic is the ITR to the Honda Type R lineup. I mean, when you think Type R, of course, since 2017, there's the Civic Type R in America, but prior to that, and for like almost 2 decades, there was the ITR. This was probably the most well-known Type R Hondas of all the Type R brand. And to me, I feel like it's really like one of the most iconic cars in the lineup. I truly believe that the Honda Integra Type R is to Honda almost as the same thing as the R32 Skyline GTR into the Nissan lineup from the late 80s, early 90s. But I already hear you commenting like, you're not right, the GTR, Godzilla, it's... Anyway. To me, the Honda Integra Type R is an iconic build, and I truly believe it haven't been topped by any Type Rs just yet. There's a lot of people thinking that the FD2R is probably the best Type R. I prefer the raw factor of the ITR. And also another thing, I feel like for most of us in America, the Honda Integra Type R, the JDM DC2, was mostly known through the Gran Turismo franchise back in the late 90s, because for us, prior to Gran Turismo, the Integra was that 4 round headlight cars. But this is the true ITR. This is truly an iconic design. To me, it's timeless. I still drive this car around and people are like, wow, this is a beautiful car. And it's hard to believe that this very car is 26 years old now. For number 4, it's probably a little bit like number 5, the timeless design of the DC2 Type R. I mean, it's beautiful. It's not futuristic, but I feel like for me, a kid from the 80s, a car from the 90s, just age well. I mean, this is probably the best generations of cars that we will ever see or experience. It's a beautiful design, but even by today's standard, the fact that there's these the JDM front, as most people call it, is, I think, prettier than the USDM counterpart with the 4 round headlights, even though the 4 round headlights were also in some DB8s, DB9s in Japan. But the JDM front, as we are going to call it in this video, it aged way better. Of course, this car received a bunch of little modification here and there, but still they are period correct, so I feel like they suit the car perfectly. Not a lot of people are a fan of the Ganador mirrors. I feel like with this Honda Access body kit, the side skirt, the rear valance, the mirrors just fits perfectly, and there's the Mugen version 1 wing in the back. it was just perfect. I mean, back in the day, you would have seen a car like this drive around in the late 90s. It looks just good. And I am a fan of the Phoenix yellow color. I feel like the car feels much more modern with like a bright, flashy color. But here in Championship White, you don't go wrong with that. So number 3 of the things I love the most about this car is just how it drives. The driving feel of this car is just simply amazing. Whether it's the perfectly assist steering wheel, the throttle response that is just amazing. It's just perfect. Like the chassis is just handling great. The fact that you really got like a low hood, you can see up front, just a little bit like the NSX, I truly believe. This car, despite the fact that it's a front-wheel drive car, reminds me a lot of the NSX, and it's probably the reason why a lot of NSX owners also own an Integra Type R. I would love to have this car in a left-hand drive format, but I truly believe that the Integra Type R deserves to be right-hand drive, especially with that front. I don't know if it's my OCD, but to see a left-hand drive Japanese front Integra Type R is just weird to me, and I prefer that front. So the shifter feel is amazing. It's not as notchy as a K-Series car, just like my DC5 that I had in the past, but it's just perfect for me for the feel of this car. I had DC5s in the past, S2000s. This car, I truly believe this car is better, and it's probably on par with the NSX. But the sound of an NSX, the feeling of having the engine in the back, that's a little bit up there. But the steering feel of this car is what I love the most. The fact that you can feel the very neutral feel of this car, but it's almost on the edge of oversteering depending on your suspension setup. I really enjoy that for spirited driving. And if you've never driven a Type R, you should try this car at least once, and you would totally agree with me. I would be crazy not to put the B18C engine into the list of things I love about this car. The B18C with its 9,000 RPM redline is amazing. I mean, for a small period of time, this was the engine with the most amount of horsepower per liter before it was then dethroned by the S2000 and then the 458 Ferrari. So those red valve covers, they are up there. This is an amazing engine. It's super reliable. There's a bunch of cool go fast parts here and there, but this is a truly amazing engine. There's a lot of people saying that B series or K series are better than another. I've been into an S2000 and a K series Honda Integra Type R. I'm sorry guys, B series is the best in terms of 4-cylinder Hondas. This is just it. For number 1 of the things I love about my Honda Integra Type R, I gotta remove the camera from the tripod and I gotta bring you along with me. It's all the Mugen parts on this car that makes this car not really unique, because there's probably a bunch of guys who are restoring Type Rs and just trying to add all the Mugen bits and pieces everywhere. But let me show you what I love the most about this car. What I truly love the most about this car is the fact that you got all these parts in perfect harmony. These parts were separated by decades, and they are all meeting up on this car. We've got the Mugen wheels, we've got the NSX calipers, Ganador mirrors, Honda Access lip kits, so side skirt and rear valance, the Mugen rear spoiler, the Mugen muffler right there. Also, if you know your Integras, you can see the JDM tail lights. This is what I love the most about this car. This is all the parts that were added to it to make it look period correct, OEM plus, just perfect. And you know, there's a Mugen tax to pay these days for these parts, but to me, it's totally worth it. So guys, this was the video about the 5 things I love about my Honda Integra Type R. If you like that video, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already, and I see you in the next one for probably a controversial video. 5 things I hate about this car. Is that possible? I think so. Anyway, I see you in the next one. Bye.